Welcome, Walnut. I'm Lara, but you can call me Laz, your host for Walnut Wednesday. This is your reminder to be brave, be yourself, and know that you can make the world a better place just by what you decide today. Here, I'm going to share my weekly walnuttings with you on a Wednesday. Hello, Walnut. It is me, Laz, here for another episode of Walnut Wednesday. I have got the microphone right up to my face today because it is still stormy. It is still stormy and windy, so I apologize if you hear a howling in the background. It's just the weather. It's just Mama Nature trying to speak to us and say hello. But making a debut on the Walnut Wednesday podcast. This week, Walnut, I have realized that I have recorded a few episodes and there is one key one that I have forgotten to share, and it's a little bit cliche, a little bit like sunshine and rainbows, but I think it's an important reminder as well, Walnut. So while I have been having, as you know, trials and tribulations of the Laz, of the Walnut journey, of all the things that I have kind of got going on, I wanted to share a very laid back, a very basic fish, and a very heartwarming moment that I had. And I'll just tell you the story. So basically, story time with Laz that you never asked for, you're welcome. Basically, Geordie and I, it was the other weekend, Geordie and I were going to visit our friends who had just had a new little baby, and she's so beautiful, and we hadn't met her yet, so she's only a couple weeks old, and we went round there, and I knew that in the afternoon my friend from up north was coming to sleep over at our house because we're grown-ups now and have a double bed in the guest bedroom finally, so it was really like mattress on the floor vibe before. So I'm very proud of having an actual bed. So my friend was coming, and then another girlfriend was coming as well, and so anyway, so that was already the plan for the afternoon. And then in the morning, late morning, we were like, oh, we'll go visit our new little niecey, little Baba. And then another couple of our friends with their little Bubba popped over at the same time to visit. So it was all the babies and all the things. Really funny moment. Geordie was stuck between the two mums at one point, and they were talking about birth and stuff. I actually have a photo of it. Walnut, is so funny. Geordie's face is just get me out of here. He was sort of wedged in the middle of the couch in this conversation that he didn't really ask to be a part of. It was a really funny moment, but anyway, it just spontaneously happened that, Geordie and I said, oh, well, look, the girl's coming over. We're just having a drink, so why don't you guys come over? And I had the most wonderful, heartwarming moment. And I actually took this photo, I've got these stairs. So everyone was just sitting in my lounge. We were just shooting the shit. We were just talking. Me and my friend made this, we just baked a brie and a camembert cheese with rosemary and some garlic, and I cut up some pittas to make pitta corn chip things to dip in the melted cheese with olives, and there was enough to go around for everybody, and everyone stayed for ages, but it wasn't overstaying welcomes, and we just all talked and drank wine, and it was the boys were there and the girls were there and the bubbas were there to cuddle. And I just had this moment where I was looking around, and it was I don't know if you've seen the TV show Girls, Walnut, where that final episode when Hannah's just looking around, and it's and I've been scared of crowded places. And she's just looking around at all her friends at these different parts of their lives and on these different journeys, and they're all so different, but they're all just here in this room at that one moment as friends. And no matter what happens, they'll always have this moment. And you just have to watch Girls because it's the most heartwarming moment ever. But I had that with my friends, and So much so that I felt like all warm and fuzzy inside, that I like went up to the top of the stairs and like just took a picture. And it's not a glamorous picture by any means, but it was just capturing this moment for me that really like, it was like a soul food moment. And I think the reason why I wanted to share this episode, Walnut, was because not only is there so much like meh around, and it's so easy to meh and whinge and complain about all the things, it's more this episode as a reminder to mainly myself, especially through the Weltschmerz saga and the Devil tarot card that I am that I am working on mastering throughout this whole year, is that in every walnutting and every trial and every tribulation, there is a warm moment of comfort that you can find in the familiar, in the love, in the friendliness, in the environment. And sometimes they do just kind of smack you on the nose to make you realize, wow, like I am so grateful. And it just sounds so silly, doesn't it, Walnut? Like, I'm saying this now, I'm hearing the words coming out of my mouth, I'm thinking, oh my God, you fucking idiot. You silly little twat. You looked at your friends lovingly with Google eyes around in a circle and felt happy. But I looked at my friends with loving eyes all sat in a circle and I felt happy. I felt a moment of pure joy. There was not one single thing that annoyed me, that could have gone wrong or anything. It was just this beautiful moment that I'll remember for forever. It was like my favorite moment that I've had all of this year. And it does happen that way, Walnut, where I've had situations like, I remember, this is one of my favorite like memories to date, where my friend Stacey, who is the creator of Brick and Mortar Creative, she does these amazing prints of buildings and stuff, and originals, and what are they called? Not customs. You know what I mean. You know what I mean. She like will do your house, and she invited Geordie and I with her husband to this thing that the Roxy Cinema used to do in the city where I'm from. And it was called Eat the Film. And because I'm a film nerd and because I like eating, it was the most amazing pre-COVID experience. I don't think they do it anymore, but basically you watch an old classic movie, and we watched Alien, iconic. And in certain bits of the film, they will create like cocktails or entrees or little like canapé kind of food to resemble the scene on the screen. So it's like, I can't, just tell me if you've done it before, but it was like, I walked out of there and on the drive home, I was just dork grinning from ear to ear. And it's still one of my most favorite things I've ever done. And like, yes, there's like the holidays and the new things that you try and do, and the walnuttings, but there are also like some really beautiful walnuttings in the simple things, that the simple moments, because life is just a series of moments, right, Walnut? So it would have been so easy for me, and I do this quite often, to not go out or to not invite people over for that like heartwarming moment. Or for example, another one of my favorite memories this year, so that's only 2 for this year that I can actually really remember and go, that was the best day ever, was when Geordie and I had a date day. We walked Nan to the markets. It was like a sunny day. There was frost on the grass, and I remember looking at the frost thinking, wow, the way that the sun was like shining behind the trees, and you know, they're all like dead, and then like the dead trees, because it's like wintertime in New Zealand, was like popping through. And so we had fresh food from the market, which we got stuff for our date dinner. We made ourselves a lovely luxurious platter. Didn't like worry about the cost of anything. We went all the way to the butcher in another part of our town to get like steak, like the nice cuts of steak for dinner. We sat at the table, we lit candles, we just talked, we drank Malbec from Argentina. We just made a moment mean something. And yeah, those are the only 3 that come to mind, see, because there are these moments like daily. And there are also moments that you can literally make from your heart. And it's quite wonderful when they spontaneous happen, like the one my last weekend. And it's also quite wonderful when you intentional make them. So I don't know, it's a bit of a cheesy app, isn't it, Walnut? But I just wanted to remind you that moments mean stuff. Moments mean stuff. And when it's really hard, I know it is really, really hard to not see the stuff. And so this, what I had just staring at my friends, like the episode of Girls, it just reminded me that it does get to be simple, and it doesn't, even though it's heavy, and you know how I love to talk about duality and polaricalness, even though sometimes things are really, really heavy, the most kindest, nurturing things sometimes just pop right under your nose where you least expect them. Do you inspect the end of your nose? I suppose we kind of do. But yeah, what I'm getting at, Walnut, is that just, I hope you find a moment today. And I hope you make a moment mean something today, whether it like just smacked you on the butt a little bit or whether you intentionally chose it. Because it does take following your intuition and making a series of choices. Sometimes they're walnuttings, a series of brave choices to get to a place where you can actually appreciate what you have. And it sounds so much easier than what it is to really sit down and feel the actual gratitude. And I don't think moments like that come around every day. So they're incredibly special. So I would love to hear if you have, melt your heart moment like that, Walnut, because yeah, I feel really nice that I shared those little 3 of my favorite days or my favorite moments with you. And, just thinking about them again, I'm on like a little cloud, and it's making me feel really nice and warm and fuzzy, even though the wind is howling and it's stormy outside. So Walnut, if you are in a storm, I just want to send you a warm, loving, caring moment. And I thank you for sharing this one with me today. So have a happy Walnut Wednesday. Cheesy, squeezy, lemon breezy. And I will talk to you next week on the podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, please share and tag me at Walnut Wednesday. And if you're not already in the Walnut Tree on Facebook, please join, and please do feel free and feel called and feel welcomed and invited to share if you've had a warm, fuzzy moment like this, because I really want to hear from you. I'll talk to you next week, Walnut. Bye.